the closing work on the first half of the Peninsula Symphony's tribute to Leonard Bernstein involves the compositional mentor of Leonard Bernstein, Aaron Copland, and the greatest American composer of the 20th century, without a doubt. This is Copland's Lincoln Portrait, and it's a piece which Bernstein and Copland shared in many profound ways, but specifically, they performed it together many, many times, with Copland narrating and Bernstein conducting the piece. There's wonderful stories about those collaborations. In one case, there's a YouTube still of the first night performance that they did in Washington with the National Symphony, and then the next night, or a couple of nights later, with the American Symphony, and there's a moment in there where you can see Copland looking at Bernstein and in a stage whisper say, "Too slow." They knew each other. They were so familial with each other. They were like father and son. And at any rate, that collaboration with the Lincoln Portrait was a very special thing to them. And of course, because it focuses on Lincoln, our greatest president, and the embodiment of so much that we treasure as American citizens, this piece really becomes a core piece in the literature. It begins, actually not at the very beginning, but it has a long sequence of the very bright, folky, energetic Americana that Copland was uniquely good. Wide open spaces, energy, barn dance. What could be more American than this? Hints of folk songs without actually quoting them. And then now these soaring lines, which we'll take over later on in the piece. So, there is this background of energetic, bustling, industrious America. But this piece also tells Lincoln's story, and it recounts some of his most important words. Here's a version with James Earl Jones.
He was born in Kentucky, raised in Indiana, and lived in Illinois. And this is what he said. This is what Abe Lincoln said. The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion
and the Lincoln Portrait concludes with some of the greatest and most inspiring pronouncements.
That we here highly resolve
most powerful
that
musical
these
setting.
dead shall not have died in vain, and that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
In a way, the Lincoln Portrait and the West Side Story symphonic dances complement each other because they're both telling stories. In the case of West Side Story, it's the Romeo and Juliet story told out of the grubby streets of New York. Lincoln Portrait, just the most inspiring American sentiments that have ever been penned. We're happy to have Dan Ashley, ABC News fabulous narrator for Lincoln Portrait. He's done this a number of times. He's a skilled musician and a person who's very knowledgeable about symphonies. Dan Ashley will be our narrator for the Lincoln Portrait, along with West Side Story, symphonic dances, and other music in tribute to Leonard Bernstein. Peninsula Symphony's March concerts, March 16th and 17th.